It looks like she may be just getting audio now.
Okay.
Chantal, are you with us? I guess she doesn't quite have it yet.
Okay, well, let's wait just a few more minutes to see if she comes on. Margaret, are people still joining the call? Is that what's happening?
Yes. There are a couple of people. Hard to tell whether they have audio or not because we have a few call-in users that are unidentified. But I think maybe we can just go ahead and get started.
Okay. And I guess I should introduce myself as well since I haven't had a chance to connect with all of you yet. So I'm Pam HeW, and I'm the new Employment and Student Services Specialist for the consortium. And I also just want to recognize Margaret Murphy, who's been facilitating these meetings over several months. And I've had a chance to look at some of those, listen to some of those webinars and videos. This has been really helpful, and to see what a great job Margaret's done. And I hope that I can live up to what she has created here as I take over facilitation of these meetings. So thank you, Margaret.
Pam, we are so thrilled to have you. Pam comes to us with significant marketing experience and expertise, and we're looking forward to all of the resources that she'll be sending our way. So Pam, thrilled to have you.
Thank you. Thrilled to be here.
And Lou, we're just so delighted to have you with us today. And I know you have, in addition to your health IT recruiting experience, you have a background in HR and technical training, management. So we are very much looking forward to hearing your insights into health IT job placements.
Excellent, and thank you for that. Thank you for having me. Again, like I was telling Margaret, I'm so thrilled to be here because this is a win-win situation, I think, for all of us. Because again, I learn from everybody I meet. So, can I go ahead and start, and do I have control, Margaret? Okay, I should. Okay.
Let me pass the baton to you, Lou.
Excellent.
And it'll be coming your way in just a second. And there you go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, again, thank you for spending some time with me on career searches, tips, tricks, techniques, and trials. I named this brief as shown because although I've been around and have used different tips, tricks, and techniques, no one can ever know everything. In recruiting and job hunting, there isn't one best way of doing something. You have to use trial and error to see what concepts work for you. So my philosophy is you learn from everyone you meet, take those different tips, tricks, and techniques into consideration, try them or trial them, if you will. And if they don't work, move on. If they do, and put them in your toolkit, use them, improve upon them, and let somebody else know, because information to me is power. So let's just spread the word. So I thought it was appropriate. I'm going to start off with a quick elevator speech, as we'll discuss what an elevator speech is later on in the brief. But so just a little background on me. I have over 20 years of military, federal, and private sector experience as a recruiter, human resources manager, a business leadership analyst, a platform instructor, and a supervisor. My professional experience consists of recruiting top technology talent, facilitating organizational transformation, conducting program evaluations and studies. I've worked in large groups, small team settings, as well as individually with different levels of employees to include frontline, mid-level management, and C-suite executives. So my understanding of the purpose of today's brief is to discuss or to exchange information to help healthcare information technology students in their career searches. And again, I am just thrilled to be here. And it worked, yay. So here's our agenda. So again, I like an exchange of information, and I think most of you have audio, I hope. So please feel free to ask questions and interject comments as we go. Because again, we all learn when we exchange information. So I think we can talk back and forth. Is that correct?
Yes, we can. And just a reminder to people, if you would like to ask Lou a question, please be sure to unmute your mic, or you can chat in the chat box and I can refer the questions to Lou, whichever is best.
Okay, great, because again, technology changes so fast, and you just can't keep up with it. So let me go on record to say with this brief that looking for a job is a full-time job. Honestly, if you want to do a career search and do it justice, it's a full-time job. And I really believe that that is one of the key answers to successful career search. So a little bit about Intelligent Insights, and this is great because it sounds like this consortium mirrors or just parallels right up with Intelligent Insights. We are an enterprise healthcare software company focused on improving healthcare operations through our real-time operational intelligence. The slide says that, you know, we're rapidly growing and industry leading. So I'll confirm these facts later on in the brief. But the bottom line is our enterprise gathers data, then delivers that meaningful information to the right person at the right time on the right device. So what does that mean? So in layman's terms, what our applications are like, think of it as an internal GPS in a healthcare environment, honestly. So our mission statement defines who we are and what we do. Intelligent Insights is a mid-stage company based out of Fargo, North Dakota. We've been in business for about 10 years. What our software platform provides is a wide range of systems from asset management to patient workflow, environmental monitoring to patient and staff safety. For instance, hospitals can locate equipment real-time, monitor inventory levels, and identify temperature changes immediately in real time. It's a common occurrence to search for equipment in hospitals. Well, what staff can do right now is just go to the dashboard and locate a wheelchair real time. Also, an alert could be triggered in the event of a temperature rise or if it dropped out of range in the pharmacy to ensure, again, the safety of those medications as well as cost. One of our clients, Butler Health Systems in Pennsylvania, has one of our applications that when a patient comes in for surgery, his or her wrist ID contains an RFID tag to monitor the location of that patient the entire time he or she is in the hospital. In turn, family members are also given an RFID tag so they can consistently receive updates on the status of their family members. And then, you know, if you've ever been in a waiting room, you know, that's hours on end. You got to go to get a coffee or you want to go eat. Let's say the physician comes in and wants to talk to the family member, or you've gone to the cafeteria. With our RFID or real-time location system, that physician or surgeon can find the family member right away and go talk to them. So those are just touching the surface of some of the ability of our applications. It's easy to sell Intelligent Insights because we do have quite a good product. What's really exciting and what really just mirrors up with this consortium is Intelligent Insights recently transitioned into the federal sector because the Department of Veterans Affairs is implementing our real-time location suite, in particular asset management and environmental monitoring in their 152 VA medical centers throughout the United States. Again, I just love working for them because it's win-win for me. And we're recruiting veterans with healthcare IT experience. So remember that About Us slide, referring to rapidly growing and industry-leading company. Well, this is one of the contracts that opened up a huge door for Intelligent Insights. So we're pretty excited about that. So that's just a little bit about us. Is there any questions that I have? I'll just take a quick pause before I move on. Okay, so we'll move on to developing resumes. So as a recruiter, I review a whole lot of resumes, and I like to think of recruiters as kind of like speed daters, if you will. We assess a candidate's potential fit within a few minutes. So having said that, a resume should be in what I call the ABC format. ABC stands for accuracy, brevity, and clarity. Easy to remember. So accuracy, be truthful. Brevity, be brief. Clarity, keep it simple. I've seen resumes as long as 14 pages. Yikes. I coach people to try for 1 or 2, maybe 3 pages, but keep it with that ABC format. And I don't know if you know, but Microsoft Word has several templates. In fact, you can find almost any template, any type of template in Word, any type of resume template. So to take that one step further, all the Microsoft Office programs have templates. Just do some exploring under the tab file, New, and you can find almost any template under that tab, and you can just move on from there. It makes it so easy. I also recommend customizing the resume to a specific position by the job ad or the job description to use the same words that the employer is using. Again, accuracy, don't lie, you know, but you want to make sure that your resume gets seen by that specific company. So if you just have a generic resume, it's probably not going to get seen. I, as a recruiter, immediately look at that, again, because I'm only looking looking at it for a few minutes. Objective and or summary, definitely need one, because what the objectives tells me as a recruiter, what do you want? The summary, where have you been? And again, using that simple ABC concept. By putting in that one-line objective up front, I, as a recruiter, immediately know what that applicant wants. And then if it piques my interest, then I can go down. I've seen objective statements that are just generic. I want to work for a long-standing company and give my professional experience to them. What does that do for me? It doesn't do anything for me. Now, if you're a Java developer, I mean, I am a Java developer. I have 6 years of experience. I want to be with this company because. There's your objective statement. Key items I look for when I'm scanning resumes, and it literally is scanning because I look at hundreds of them, are education level, position titles, and the amount of time spent in those positions. And then if all that looks pretty good, then what I do is I put in this other stack, and I'm going to go back and look at that individual more, if you will. One thing to know, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We had one question come in. What should you call the summary? A qualification summary, a qualification statement, a professional summary, or does it matter?
Well, and I think, again, this is just my opinion, but what I like to look at is titles. You know, what titles that you've done. If you're a new student, then what projects were you involved in school, or what internships were you involved in school? But again, a summary should be a short, concise paragraph. Because then I don't have to, I mean, I can almost forget going and looking at the professional experience, especially for students. We go to a lot of fairs, university fairs, where, I mean, I can look at that one pager and I can look at that summary because, again, students don't have a lot of background. And I can look at that summary and get a whole concept of that person very quickly.
Thank you.
Certainly. Okay, so let's see. Education. I was on education. You should relate your education to the objective. And this is a foot stamper. If the individual is still in school, put the expected grad date on there. For one, I can tell immediately, are they a sophomore, junior, senior, and then are they going for an internship program or are they going for full-time? Bullets work best for professional experience, in my experience. again, while in the military, we used the format of bullets for our performance evaluations that contained in one bullet the fact, result, and impact of each of your tasks. So again, accuracy, brevity, and clarity at its best. So in those bullet statements, we had a fact, we had a result, and an impact. Grammar and spelling errors just leave a bad taste, and first impressions are lasting. And so I just recommend have somebody look at your resume or the student's resume, QC it before they start handing it out. And again, to err is human, so is that one area that I'm just going to say I won't even look at it? No, but I've heard some recruiters will. And I'm like, that's crazy. But again, that sticks with the recruiter. And then the hiring manager, too, is going to see that. So lastly, cover letters, I think, are a must. And a cover letter, to me, is an opportunity to tell the company why they should invite that candidate in for an interview. Don't regurgitate your resume. I try to coach applicants to go on Google and Google cover letters and see what you can find online. I mean, Google is the new verb, isn't it? You can find anything online. So again, take what you can, and copying is the best compliment you can ever give anybody, as long as you don't plagiarize. Moving on to searching techniques. I suggest to at least consider all the different areas to see again what works for you as a student, as an applicant, as a candidate. So, I mean, we all have a chamber of commerce somewhere in our city, and that's a form of business networking with local organizations to immerse yourself into the community. You can network with people you've never even considered could help you. A friend of a friend or a colleague who isn't even in your discipline but knows of somebody that is. So I highly recommend looking at the Chamber of Commerce website and go to those. I know that here in Fargo they have a professional youth program, or youthful professionals that are young professionals networking group. Again, that people get involved and find that networking avenue, if you will. Again, the different job boards are out there to find those positions that are advertised, the local, state, and university job boards. But job boards are slowly but surely becoming dead because of social media. Many positions aren't advertised on job boards, so do not ensure that job boards are not your sole way of career searching. Traditional career fairs are great as long as candidates go in with a strategy. They need to do the homework on their company, have resumes current and available that look professional, and have themselves look professional. And the reason I bring this up is when we've been to many career fairs at universities, I mean, again, some of the companies have relaxed dress wear, but my suggestion is, again, first impressions. If you're coming to me in jeans and a t-shirt or a sweatshirt and some flip-flops, I mean, I'm not going to look at you as hard as some guy over here dressed up in a three-piece suit. Not saying that you have to wear a three-piece suit, but just a nice shirt and khakis is wonderful. So presentation is critical as well in career fairs. And if you plan to visit a company at a career fair, be able to talk intellectually about that company to that company. What a way to wow a company. It's amazing if that candidate already knows something about you as an employer. And now there are virtual career fairs. For us, Intelligent Insights, we've attended several virtual career fairs, and they've just been a win-win situation, and we've hired off of virtual career fairs. So I have slides for the remaining 3 topics to discuss in more detail. Are there any questions at this point?
Lou, we had a couple of questions chatted in.
Okay.
One is, and I know you touched on this a bit, about length of resume. Is it true that it's a best practice to minimize the resume to only one page?
Again, there are different schools of thought on that. I would say as long as it's relevant to the position that you're applying for, if you need to go to 2 pages, go to 2 pages. Because here's my thought process. Okay, so way back when, 27 years ago, I was an electronics technician. Okay, I have an EET, my bachelor's in EET. So I'm applying for a human resources position. So obviously I'm going to put my bachelor's, my education in there. But would I really want to put in that I was an electronics technician if I was, you know, applying for a human resources job? Probably not, because 1, it was way back in the 80s, and 2, is it really relevant? So that is my opinion, in my opinion only. But again, I don't think there is one set best practice that it should be 1 page if you have to get rid of relevant information. I mean, if you have been through in a discipline for 20+ years and you moved around, and moving around isn't necessarily bad, actually it's very good because it shows that breadth. I would say go to the 2 pages. 3 is stretching it.
Thanks, Lou. And we had another question. How often do you think companies use computers to scan resumes versus looking at them manually?
Well, we have an ATS, which is an applicant tracking system, and I think that is the majority of employers have ATSs where you apply online and you look at resumes electronically. So the only time that I look at hard copy resumes is when I'm at a career fair. Otherwise, and then when we're at those career fairs, we highly encourage candidates to apply online because 1, we don't have the hiring managers with us sometimes at those career fairs, and we want to ensure that those resumes don't get lost somewhere in somebody's email, in somebody's inbox or whatever. So that's what we tell candidates. If we've got an ATS, an applicant tracking system, apply online because that way you are in their database, they've got your data, and they've got, and companies have a whole process on how to do that. So then your information would never get lost. Does that make sense?
It does. And we had another question from Brandy. Does your company have a national reach, or do you just hire locally in North Dakota?
Great question. Great question. Why are you interested in it? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a recruiter, always a recruiter. Our headquarters is based out of Fargo, but I do recruit nationwide just because we do have a lot of our sales reps, project managers are, in fact, we do have one out in Washington State. They're all over the United States. We've got in DC, Texas, Minnesota, North Carolina. So we are all over. As far as our software engineers and our quality assurance engineers, we like to have them all here in Fargo. But again, our philosophy at Intelligent Insights is if we have a candidate and there's a great fit there, we will be as flexible as possible with that candidate. Now, having said that, and people laugh at this, you'll probably fly to Fargo a lot. But again, we try to work with candidates because we want a good fit for the candidate and we want a good fit for the organization as well.
Great. And Andy had a question. What are the common types of positions you see demand for in terms of health IT?
Can I hold that question till later on in the brief? Because I have a whole slide that lists that. And thank you for that, Andy. Good segue coming up.
Okay. Thanks, Lou.
Certainly. Okay, so virtual career fairs and hiring events. I say find your niche events, again, on the web for technology and healthcare. They are out there. All candidates need is a computer and access to the web. We've attended DICE, Midwest Technology and Engineering virtual career fairs, but they have regional technology and engineering virtual career fairs that candidates can go up to. But we were only interested in that point at the Midwest. Corporate Gray is a military-based organization that holds regular virtual career fairs for military members, and it's free for military members. I believe the Midwest Technology and Engineering is also free. And then there are several bases, Army, Air Force, and Navy bases that we've attended virtual career fairs. But again, employees or employers can pre-screen resumes. Candidates can pre-screen those employers, and then we set up online interviews for the day of the event for some of them. And some get hired right on the spot. So it's a very, very efficient recruiting process where job seekers link up with employers in a live, engaging conversation via instant chat. And after the event is over, if for some reason a candidate couldn't get with a company, employers have access to all the attendees' resumes with the option to review them and contact them. And I believe that then the candidates or the applicants can also contact the employees as well, or excuse me, the employers as well. So virtual career fairs is something to push people towards because, again, it's cost effective because there are no travel costs. And then, I mean, you could get hired. Some companies, like I said, get hired on the spot. Another networking venue, has anybody ever heard of job clubs? Which, when I took my master's program, that's where I heard about job clubs, which was quite interesting. There are small groups of people across America who meet regularly to talk candidly about job searching and career advancement with the goal of supporting the success of all members. You can think of them as like book clubs without books, or investment clubs without stocks, or weight loss clubs without weight loss. Job searching can be a lonely and discouraging process because of the length of time it takes to find the work. People get discouraged, lose momentum, get frustrated, and these job clubs can actually help. So many people are more successful when they participate in a formal weekly or monthly meeting, or when they partner with a buddy, because that's what job clubs do, is they partner you with an expert. Like, let's say that someone just graduated with a bachelor's in HR, and I was in the job club. They would link me up to this new graduate out of school, so that we could network, help each other with whatever needed to be done. Job clubs are not for all, but this is an opportunity for individuals to help others as needed. So I did do a Google of Seattle job clubs and found some active clubs out there. So this could be one of those tips that work for some and not for others. And now moving on to the biggie, social media networks. And again, social media has changed the face of recruiting and career searching. According to a 2013 Job Bite survey, 94% of companies use social media to recruit, or 78% have made a hire. Intelligent Insights is part of both of those statistics. I spend a lot of my time on LinkedIn. And social media is a millennials' platform. This is where they feel comfortable. So encourage candidates to build a professional profile, follow target companies, and participate in discussions. And I like the quote at the bottom because it just makes so much sense. It's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows what you can do. And that's what networking really is all about. And social media is a good way for candidates to build that rapport and a relationship with specific companies in the comfort of their own platform, honestly. Next slide shows another graphic from Job Bite survey on the different social network types. I actively, like I said, recruit on LinkedIn, and we've had several successes and have hired passive candidates off LinkedIn through recruiting research. And I have to admit, I don't recruit a lot on Facebook, as to me, it's more of a personal network, and there have been some controversies around it. And so I just kind of shy away from that, although Intelligent Insights has a Facebook page to help sell and brand our culture, as well as a blog and YouTube snippets. I dabbled in Twitter some, but need to do more, and I'm getting tech savvy and up there with the millennials, but it's just taking me a little bit. So, but honestly, if you're in career mode, you should definitely have a profile on LinkedIn, because I tell you what, recruiters are out there looking for you. So here's LinkedIn. I put a special slide for this because LinkedIn is that virtual professional network that you can link into so many people with. There are full class sessions on how to set up and use LinkedIn. I think you can even, if you've got a profile, you can even sign up for them. And I believe they're free. If not, Google it and you can find classes that are, if not free, they don't really cost a lot. But I'm going to touch on a few tips, tricks, and techniques that have really helped me. First and foremost, you have to join. You can have up to 3,000 on your network. 500 is, the first 500 are pretty free, and then you kind of have to get a approval to get more, but you can. So I suggest to definitely join. I'd love to link up with all of you. I'm in the process of still networking and building my network, if you will. You definitely need a professional, the key word here is professional picture of just you, not your family, not your loved one. I like this and everything, but again, if you're doing a career, if you're searching for a career and you want that dream job, present yourself in a professional manner. Your headline is what you do, and be creative to make sure that it shows up in the search results. And use your summary section like an elevator pitch. What is it like to work for your company? State your roles and experience using that ABC concept. Contact information, as a recruiter, I put my contact information out there because I want people to contact me. That's a preference, so that's a decision point that you have to make. Then there's the SEO or keyword search. SEO is search engine optimization, and that's just finding those keywords. And these are the keywords that employers use or how recruiters search for candidates and clients. And here's to me is a very hot tip that you need to go research Wordle.net, because Wordle is a site that generates word clouds from the text that you provide. And what it does is it highlights the most important words to use by size of text in your particular niche. Again, if you're a healthcare IT, it will give you the words that you should be using on your LinkedIn profile to get found. And that's how you build your LinkedIn profile, your headline, your summary, using the language of the employers and the clients. Or what I do is I use the language of the candidates. So the bottom line is, what are the key words for your profession? And Wordle.net will do that for you. It identifies those words to use on LinkedIn to get found or to find someone. Well, how do I do that? So you go to Wordle.net, you take the last 10 job ads. If you're looking for jobs, you take those last 10 job ads and you copy and paste them into Wordle. You click go, and then this cloud of words comes up, and the big words, the 5 to 7 words, are the ones that are most used. And that's how you really build your LinkedIn profile. Because then when someone is looking for a Java developer or a Java engineer, as a recruiter, if those are your most used words, those will pop up, your profile will pop up, and I will see that as a recruiter. So it's a pretty cool way to build your LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn groups, join many, participate in few. You can join as many as 50 groups. Join those that are pertinent to your discipline or your profession again. And you can, again, network with these people, see what they're talking about. You can post articles, you can find out articles. I mean, I spend probably, I would say, 50 to 70% of my time on LinkedIn, finding out information, recruiting, And then how you do your searches is by Boolean searching, or Boolean logic, uses the and or not functions. If you don't know what that is, again, here's that verb again, Google Boolean logic and searching for LinkedIn Boolean logic, and it will, all kinds of guys will show up. So I'm giving you lots of homework, right? I'm going to stop here again to see if there are any questions for me.
And feel free to unmute your mics if you have questions.
Chantel, did you have a question?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I saw your name pop up. So another networking venue I use as a healthcare IT recruiter is through a not-for-profit organization called the Healthcare Information and Management Systems Society, or HIMSS, and I hope you've heard of this. There is a membership associated with it, but I do a lot of recruiting on the HIMSS job line. Employers can advertise positions, as well as candidates can post resumes. I am on this site weekly for viable HIT candidates, and we have successfully hired from HIMSS project managers, program managers, analysts. So searching for careers in networking, on HIMSS is another avenue for you. So that's kind of networking and searching, and it can be quite overwhelming, but I will tell you it is necessary. And I made that statement, looking for a job is a full-time job. So I advise people to develop a strategy and just do it. Does anybody want to share experience with social networking that they've had?
Hi, this is Andy. Yeah, I work with some veterans to help them create LinkedIn profiles and to connect to veterans groups online. For instance, Marines for Life is a organization here in Seattle that has employers who are veterans who meet regularly to meet applicants for all businesses, and they assist them to create better LinkedIn profiles and to, find jobs in the fields that they're working in. So I encourage them to use LinkedIn as a resource to connect to others all the time.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Andy. Okay, I'll move on now to interviewing. So can't stress enough, prepare so that you stand out, because they are interviewing other candidates. And how are they going to remember you? So some of these items are common sense, but if we have to discuss them, many don't get it. So do your homework on the company. Know the company's mission, vision, and values. It doesn't hurt. If you've got an interview, ask the employer or the HR person, okay, so what type of interview? So again, so you can prepare. Am I going to be one-on-one? Am I going to be sitting in front of a panel, a group? Is it a behavioral, functional? So this all helps you understand what you're going to be up against, so that, again, that you can be as prepared as possible. I also suggest prepare questions for the interviewer, because 99.9% of the time at the end of the interview, they're going to say, oh, so do you have any questions for us? No is not a good answer. Again, using your company research, ask the companies, about the company's challenges? What are likely upcoming changes in the industry? Then you can follow up with a possible solution or an experience you've had and a way you can help them. Boom. Now you're standing out. Wow, that person said that, we've got this challenge. Well, they've got this experience. Maybe they can help us. A common sense approach to answering interview questions, and I'm sure some of you have used the STAR approach, but again, it's so simple. It's just a simple way to answer questions. STAR acronym stands for situation, task, action and results. And situation is nothing more than, think of a situation in which you were involved that had a positive outcome. Task, describe what you were trying to achieve for that situation. The action, what did you do? And the results, what was the outcome? And were the objectives met? And what did you learn? And lastly, have you applied it since? This helps hiring managers understand the candidate better through an accurate, brief, simple story. Again, back to those ABCs. These candidates have all this knowledge in their head, but if they prepare these STAR stories beforehand, they just roll off the tongue. So before the interview, I encourage candidates to develop STAR stories relevant to the job description and quantify their success, and then you practice it. Interview questions tend to start with a variation of, oh, so tell me about a time when blah, blah, blah. The candidate should answer in a specific, rather general terms using that STAR approach. For example, let's say I was interviewing for a customer service role and the interviewer asked me to describe a situation, and you had to deliver excellent customer service following a complaint. So, one, situation. Well, a customer called complaining that waited over 2 weeks for a reply from our sales regarding a query. The task. Well, now I know I needed to address the client's immediate query and find out what went wrong in the normal process. Activity. I apologized first, let the customer know someone would contact him that day, gathered the details, passed them to the head salesperson, who contacted the client within an hour. After investigation, I discovered it was a combination of wrong cell number, generic email, blah, blah, blah. I let the client know, and then I gave him a discount. Then the last part, the result, the client not only continued to order from us, but posted a positive customer service fee. Would you hire that person as a customer service rep? I think I would, because now I understand that they've got a process going through their head on how they're going to solve problems. And again, the STAR approach just helps that candidate articulate stories and experiences that they've had. And to me, it's so simple. Some more interview techniques is hold a mock interview, especially if you're not experienced with interviews. So an individual that you trust, have a mock interview, ask some questions based on the job description, and practice those STAR stories. They should be in your head. In addition, first impressions are lasting, and I always remember that handshake. It seems small, but have that firm handshake and appearance. Dress for success. Have an elevator speech prepared, and again, that's just your short summary like I did at the beginning of this brief. The idea here is it should be possible to deliver the summary of your elevator speech in the time span of an elevator ride, 1 to 2 minutes. Be confident but sincere. I coach applicants to be confident, but there's a fine line between confidence and cockiness, right? So look interviewees in the eye when speaking, scan the room if there's more than one, and again, all this, seems common sense to some of us, but others just don't, maybe they've never been trained in it. But these are just some tips and tricks that might just kind of put the candidate over the edge. And then homework. Have familiarity with the challenges the employer may be facing. I commented on that before. We had one interviewee present a proposal for a rollout of our VA contract. Well, he was applying for the program manager job. Well, needless to say, guess what? He's an employee now. Homework does pay off. A simple way of doing your homework is discussing a review of a press article about a client's company. Again, another way to stand out, because in an interview process and career searching, you are selling yourself, so show them you're prepared. And lastly, my final tip is what I call a career portfolio. And I encourage candidates to build a career portfolio. Whether preparing a resume or for an interview, you can easily access all your information. It's at your fingertips. You can bring the career portfolio on the interview to show some of the work you've done. Again, remember, first impressions are last seen. And where I got this tip was my master's program. We were given an assignment to complete a career portfolio given this table of contents here. And at first it looked overwhelming. I initially felt this is just going to be an exercise in futility. But I quickly realized the validity of the portfolio because I was considering a career move at the time. I started digging into old files and found accomplishments and other items I had forgotten that would add strength to my resume and possibly open more career opportunities. So I can't stress it's important enough. It's importance enough, especially for young people, to keep it up. It's an excellent organization and time-saving tool. And then in addition to a hard copy, I also created an electronic portfolio with the same tabs and filed all the documents for easy access when building resumes and updating files, so that when I applied for jobs, I knew exactly where everything was. It drastically reduced my time to apply for different positions because all the information was at my fingertips. The bottom line, this is a personal and professional marketing tool to organize achievements and accomplishments as one progresses through his or her career. So that is the final tips, tricks, and techniques. I'm going to move on to healthcare IT jobs in demand unless we have questions. Okay, so here is a list that I compiled of healthcare IT jobs in demand. And where I found this was a compilation of many different sources. Again, we just had our Build conference in October with a bunch of healthcare professionals, IT professionals coming in, as well as HIMSS professionals. So in my opinion, healthcare and IT alone are hot skills to have. When you combine the two, you have a gold mine. So, I mean, some of the programs that you have in your colleges right now, to me, that's a gold mine because healthcare is booming and the need for, well, the baby boomers coming up are going to need a lot more healthcare, right? And the technology to make better providers is going to be needed. I mean, when you walk into state-of-the-art facilities and they're still using whiteboards to tell the status of a patient, there's just something wrong with that. So the skills that Intelligent Insights are really looking for are software engineers with security background, with that iOS and application experience, cloud computing, Java. The analysts are going to be coming into heavy demand because, again, that business intelligence, I mean, you hear all this stuff about big data. So what are we going to do with this data? Show me where I need to improve and how I need to improve. So business intelligence, and one of our applications is business analytics, utilization rates of equipment. So the analysts are going to be in high demand. The engineers, the program and project managers, because they're going to need people to manage these programs, keep them, projects, and keep them on task. And all of the whole gambit of IT specialists, again, high demand. My close to last slide is final tips and tricks just to summarize some of the stuff that we talked about. Looking for a job is a full-time job. I put stumped that career portfolio. If you're young, you don't have much, but if you continue to add to it, I mean, it's just going to be a wealth of information for you. Customize your resume, include a cover letter, practice, practice, practice on that interview, and prepare an interview or elevator speech. Well, this is my information. I think you all have it. We are on LinkedIn, we are on Facebook, Twitter, RSS feed, and YouTube. I mean, technology is the way to go if you're looking for a position, a job, searching for a new career. So in closing, I just want to thank you again for this opportunity to get to know you all. I know we went over a little bit. but I hope to partner with you all in the future on LinkedIn with you on LinkedIn and to help HIT students find their careers.
Lou, thank you so much
Certainly.
for all those fantastic tips.
Certainly.
And does anyone have any final questions from Lou? If not, I'd love it if each of you could chat in the chat box one tip from today that you plan to apply next time you work with a student. You can just chat right in the Jennifer Starr. Yeah, that one really caught my attention too. And Brandy compiling their portfolio. And Matt Bryant said setting up mock interviews. Adriana, Wordle. Yeah, that was another new one I had never heard of. Adriana said she's going to use Wordle when helping students with their LinkedIn profiles.
Excellent.
And Beth, related to that, the Boolean LinkedIn logic. Yeah, Wordle caught a lot of people's attention. Lou, it's a great
pretty
tip.
Cool. It is pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. And Andy said following companies on LinkedIn to gain insight into their company knowledge. So Lou, that was so helpful. And I know that everyone in this group is very dedicated to helping the students they work with get jobs, and you've just put a lot more tools in our toolkits. Great.
I am so thrilled to hear that, and especially because you all have veteran students and you have health IT students. It's so logical to me.
Yes. All right. Well, stay warm in North Dakota. It's balmy 16 degrees.
Yes. Yes. And thank you again, and please keep in touch.
Thank you, Lou. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Pam, I'm not sure what you'd like to cover in the 6 remaining minutes we have.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of time left, but I would just like to, if anyone has a really pressing issue that you're dealing with, where you're feeling stuck and would like some help from the group in these last few minutes, could you just let us know?
I know one issue that was raised by one of our PMs who has a lot of military veterans in their program is recently a lot of the veteran students have come with various issues, and many are on significant amounts of medication. And in some cases, it's interfering with their learning. And the PM, was eager to help students, but wasn't sure of the resources that were out there. And I know, Pam, you shared some resources, but I thought we'd put it out there to the group to see if anyone has encountered this challenge before and if there are any resources that they've used.
Hi, this is Danny. I was going to type it, but I'll just say it.
Sure.
Peter Schmidt and the Veterans Training Resource Center, it's a King County thing, so I don't know if they can go everywhere. But they do a whole thing on traumatic brain injury and the challenges that are faced by students. And I know that their representative and the trainer on this, Tim Lovett, will usually come to you. And he'll be happy to train staff and others on the challenges. He's a veteran with a traumatic brain injury himself, but he's really kind of an expert on this topic. And they can provide a lot of info on this. It's really illuminating too.
Okay, great. We'll send that contact information out for Tim Lovett. And Brandy asked what organization is it? Tim?
It's Peter Schmidt and Tim Lovett, and they're both with the Veterans Training Resource Center, I think is what it's called. But I'll find it and send it to you.
You know,
to everybody.
I have it really handy since I just forwarded his information on to Pierce. So if you want, and I have a couple other resources for that as well.
Great.
So I'll go ahead and forward those on to everyone.
And we had Peter and Tim were guest speakers last spring in this group. For those of you who have been with us for a while, you'll remember them. But I think the topic we had them speak about was a little bit different that time. So Adriana suggested that maybe for a future meeting we can have someone talking directly about this topic. Great suggestion.
Okay, yeah, that's a great suggestion.
And Jennifer mentioned that there were national hotlines that vets can use.
There is a national hotline that I could include in that email that I'll forward to you, as well as there's a document that Michelle Roy shared that could be very helpful as well. So I'll include that as well.
Great. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in today. I hope you got at least a handful of useful tips and in some cases probably reminders of things that you had heard before. Brandy, thank you. Yeah, I thought that there were a few really new things like the search terms, you know, using a tag cloud to figure out how to make your profile, how to craft it in such a way that recruiters who are recruiting for particular jobs will find you. And that STAR method is also very interesting.
Yeah, I thought there were some great resources.
Yeah.
Also, Margaret, I'd just like to remind everyone that if you have any best practices, documents or resources that we could add to the website that might be helpful for others, if you could just forward those to me and I will try to combine them all and get them uploaded to the website.
Great. And was there anything else, Pam?
No, I think that's all for now. I did see there's a question from Adriana. Can you let us know if there are copyright rules? Yes, actually, it's a question that I have as well, so I'll look into that and get more information so I can let you guys know about that. And I'll definitely check on that if you do send me anything before I upload it. So great question.
Yeah, and I can probably answer that. We can share links to anything, but if you're cutting and pasting material from other documents, that needs to be clearly cited.
Okay,
so
great.
In the absence of a citation, we're going to assume that they're all original materials that we can freely share and circulate.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much, and we look forward to connecting with you next time. And let's see, Pam, I believe we're going to cancel the December meeting, and then we'll reconnect again in January. And please do let us know if there are particular topics, in addition to the veterans, that you would like us to schedule. All right. Take care.